Paul here. Just fancy saying a few words. This whole globe Earth, flat Earth thing. So a couple of years ago, someone said to me, Paul, where do you think you are? I said, well, we're on an oblate spheroid spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, hurtling through space from some cosmic event. And I've accepted that for 50 odd years. Watched Star Trek, Next Generation, actually liked it a lot. Liked any space films, like the whole idea of space, the whole concept of travel and light speed and the magic of it. Great. No problem with it, no problem with the globe. What I'd been taught at school. But, excuse me, before that, I got a phone call at 6 o'clock in the morning, going back, I can't remember how many years it was now. Someone said, oh, Princess Diana's been killed in a car crash. And I sort of like, you're joking, what's happened here? And straight away, I wasn't a conspiracy theorist or anything, but I thought, oh God, that's convenient. And I suppose that was the first thing what set me on thinking that there's maybe a cataway with the way things are. It's, after all, it's not unusual for people who are in high profile positions to be shot in public. It seems to be a part of our, well, certainly American history. I'm sure it's part of British history as well. So over the years, yeah, we've got 9/11, loads of other, Saddam Hussein things, feeding Osama bin Laden to the sharks after they capture him, and it's starting to get a bit weak in my eyes. But I was still bashing away. I thought I knew there's a cataway with this, and my conspiracy theories are, intuitively, I do feel that they're factual, even though I don't have the whole picture. But anyway, then I decided I'm sick of following all this conspiracy. I'm not getting anywhere. All you do is alienate people. People seem to be quite happy in their own thing. They don't really, in my experience, so long as they're okay and they get in a bit of money and food and they watch the telly, not massively that bothered on what's really going on in the world. It's a hands up thing saying, what can we do about it? So yeah, partly give up with conspiracies. I've looked into it. I thought as far as I could get. The 9/11 thing was so riddled with holes, guy. God, people have. If you think that was done as it says on the tin, well, you're going to have to get a grip. I can't think of anybody who thinks that. But I can remember even going back to when I was I think I was 11. It'll be 1968. I don't know when it was now. And they brought the first pictures back from the moon in 1969, whenever it was. And in those days we'd get the Evening Gazette, and it was only in black and white, the local paper. And here's this picture comes out in full colour on the front of the Evening Gazette, full colour. Wow, that was enough to blow us away. To start with, it's just been a little 11-year-old kid. Wow, look at that, it's in colour. Didn't have colour tellies in those days. And there's these pictures of these couple of astronauts with a flag, with the Earth in the background of this moon photo. And I thought, wow, I was awe-inspired by it. It was incredible. But even at 11, there's a little light came on inside me saying, it looks strange. Why is the Earth lit up in daylight and why are the astronauts sort of in the dark? And people, you know, oh well, it's because of the lack of atmosphere and all that. Well, why does it look like they're in slow motion? I was only 11, I don't know, and I never give it any more thought. So, cutting a story short, a couple of years ago, I wrapped in with the conspiracies a bit, and I just took a backseat. Didn't talk about it when I went out with anybody. Paul knew I was a raving loony. You know, I had a website, 1-2 Wide Awake, you know, saying, come on, snap out of it. But, you know, cards printed and everything. People just generally weren't that bothered. They were more prepared to do a bit of ridicule and have a bash than actually take anything themselves. So I wrapped in with it. So, and then I bought an Android box from off eBay for about 25 quid just to watch sneaky films on, you know, without having to pay. And I plugged this thing in, and it had a load of conspiracy files, the Truth Channel, something DKN News or something, and Alex Jones, and on all this conspiracy files, alien, and wow, I said, look at all these things. So, and then one of them, it just had a little window and just said flat Earth. And I looked at it and I sniggered to myself and I thought, flat Earth. Yeah, I said, what the fuck? What on earth are those people thinking to think that the Earth's flat in this day and age? It's 2016, I think it was. I said, I can't believe it. I mean, people thought I was mad with my conspiracies, but these guys must be proper off it. So I clicked on it. I couldn't resist it. I had to have a look. Flat Earth. I can't remember whether it was an Eric DeBay one or it was some other earlier one from a Mark Sargent, or it might have even been Matt Powell and somebody, I don't know. And it just clicked, and idly, I was just sat on the settee watching this thing about flat Earth, totally tongue-in-cheek, because I just couldn't wait to see what it was they had to say about this flat Earth thing. I was intrigued. I was absolutely intrigued to know what it was going to be about. So then, about an hour later, yeah, I'd finished watching it. What the hell happened there? And I don't know what it was, but something seemed to cascade inside my head from all of my early conspiracies, all of my thoughts, all of the things what I didn't quite add up. And because when I was doing my conspiracy research, I was getting involved with, you know, looking at what the Jesuits, Freemasons, Catholic Church, the ancient Hebrew and what they call the bloody things, the pharaohs of Egypt and royal family descendants, and oh god, you know. So, and then suddenly this whole thing started to drop into place a little bit. Now, yeah, there's a lot of things what aren't clear on the flat Earth. I mean, I could sit now and just say, look, okay, then, so you think the Earth's flat? Well, what about the reflection of the sunlight underneath clouds? How can you get that if the Earth's flat? What about the 15 degrees of precession of the sun in each hour and did not correlate? And what about the stars in the southern hemisphere? What about this? What about that? You know, it goes on. Yeah, a lot of questions, but just the simplest ones. I mean, at the moment, I'm in Saltburn. I'll just pan round here for a moment. Not at the people. It's a lovely day, but you know, looks pretty flat, doesn't it? Now, if anyone says to me they can see curvature there, in that, well, I'm going to make a wild guess that that pan of sea is maybe 50 miles. I've probably got a 50-mile panorama of sea view in front of me there to the horizon. So then there should be a curvature on the, you know, Pythagorean chart, as everybody's seen. you should see some noticeable curvature. Of course you don't, but people say that if people say, oh, I can see a curvature because they've got a finely tuned eye, I say, well, what about if we go around to the other side there? If it's curving off at the edges here, are you going to say it's starting to go back uphill again for the curve behind us? So it's ridiculous, isn't it? So all of the, give them the due. There's intelligent people on YouTube blogs, globies, proper slagging into flat Earth, and some of the things, some of the points they have are reasonable and they're scientifically accepted, but fundamentally, the first thing is, and this is one thing what they always seem to avoid at any cost, is there just simply isn't any measurable curvature. It would be great if there was, because there wouldn't be any type of debate. It would be a no-brainer. I wouldn't be sat here in my car waffling on about flat Earth if there was a curvature and it was measurable. And you go up in a plane and you can see a bit more curvature, or the horizon drops away, or you go in some space station. Excuse me for that, and you can see this relatively bald globe. Not that you would be able to see it at 200 miles high. That would be ridiculous. It's only the distance from Edinburgh to York or something like that, So if you turn that on its end, you're not going to get a full panorama of the globe, are you? It's common sense. You'd have to be a million miles away, and I don't even think that's possible. But there's no pictures, is there? There's no pictures of the Earth or a part of the Earth from space. No proper. There's no. You can feel them avoiding it. You can feel them wriggling. All the space agencies, not just NASA, the ESA, the JAXA, all of them. You can feel them avoiding the fact that they can't get a shot because it's not there. So they're wanting to promote a globe Earth model flying through space. It's ridiculous, but I'm sat here now, and it's me what is the idiot, in the eyes of these globies. Why is that? I don't like to think I'm an idiot. I base my life on common sense. I'm fairly practical. Like a lot of guys who are into the flat Earth, they're dead straightforward people. In fact, they're probably the most down to earth people you're going to come across, because they haven't got any preconceived ideas. They're sick of being spoon fed the lies and the shit off the government and the teaching professions and universities. They're just seeing things as they are, with their own intuition, their own senses. So it's going to go on a bit. I'm letting people know, coming out, if you like. Look, guys, I don't know entirely all the answers to this place where we are. It could be holographic. We could be in the torus field. It just might be a static interaction between magnetic forces at a cosmic sort of level. It could be just a big game. I don't know. I don't know fully where we are. All I know is it's flat. It certainly isn't flying through space. And it certainly isn't a sphere. Now, I'm coming out and saying that, and if some globe people want to challenge me on it and say I'm a retard and a flat tard, I'm fine. But I won't say that you're some dumb crud for being a globie and getting spoon-fed shit all your life and accepting it. I'm not going to say that to you if you are the type of person that's listening. All I'm saying is that just use your common sense on the first level, which is, can you measure any curvature? Seriously, can you measure any curvature? And use your common sense about if you think you're living on a sphere, what the practicalities would be. What about air travel? What about the gyros in planes? Gyros won't change the precession once it's been set up. So, you know, the flat people know this, the researcher. But if you're a globie, before you call me a flat tad or a dick and you start putting a load of comments on my thing, you know, just ask yourself and be honest to yourself about what you think the score is, really. And all I would say is that if you are absolutely convinced and there's nothing going to change your mind that you're on a globe and on all of the fact, you know, the shit what goes with it, flying through space at 66,000 miles an hour and blah blah blah. If you're really going for that, would you say then that, yeah, we landed on the moon, yeah, the space station's real, yeah, the Challenger is a glider. It's not a plane. It's actually just a glider. Yeah, you can get thrust in space, you know, without any air molecules to push against. You know, if it's all the debris from the 9/11 towers. Not that it's entirely. It is related and it's on the same thing because it's all a part of the same package. All of the metal from the Twin Towers, it got whisked away by FEMA within the first couple of days of clearing the site. No evidence, no forensic evidence. So if you believe that everything what is being told to you by the people what are giving you the same information that we live on a sphere, if you believe all that, well, I've got a feeling there's no hope for you. But if any part of it you say, oh well, yeah, I believe that. Oh, I don't believe we went to the moon. I don't believe we can get a man in space. I don't think we can live in a vacuum. I don't think that. Well, you can't question some of it and blindly follow something else. You've got to see the whole package what they're presenting to you, and see what the root of this package is, and see what it is what these people are actually subscribing to. Now, the ridiculous part about this, and I never thought I'd hear myself saying this a couple of years ago, that it's almost like a biblical battlefield. These guys in charge of the world, they're hell-bent on symbolism. They're hell-bent on bloodlines. They're hell-bent on all sorts of mystic rituals. These rituals and the mysticism, what they subscribe to, is a Luciferian belief system, and it controls Hollywood, the media, any newspapers, radio, TV, any type of news channels, governments, education systems, health service systems. They've totally got the hold on the whole thing, and you know why that is, who knows. But the people what are in charge of these setup are only ever in a position of power if they're in the club, and we aren't in the club. As George Carlin said, it's one big club and we aren't in it. We've got to accept that. All I'm saying is just use your common sense, let your ego go down for a moment and just look at it as if you don't have any preconceived ideas, and just ask yourself with like the mind of a child but the education and wisdom of an adult, saying, well, how can the atmosphere, the air, be moving at 1,000 miles an hour as well? How can a plane take off, get to its cruising altitude, 35,000 feet, 500 miles an hour, and still get to its destination? Now, I know you're going to say it's just the stone on the train thing, that it's all relative, and yeah, but a plane could do a full 500 mile an hour circle and then head in the opposite direction, so it's neutralised any initial takeoff inertia what it might have had. So it would have neutralised it. So then the Earth would be spinning 1,000 mile an hour underneath it and saying, "What? How the fuck am I going to land? Where?" Just use your common sense. You know, nothing more. Go to the beach, have a look. Can you see a curve genuinely? Use your own judgment. I'm not going to tell you you can't see a curve. You have to decide for yourself. If you can see a curve, well, you ask yourself, if I can see a curve, where does it keep on going to if I keep on looking round? Does it fall off my range of sight before I've got through 360 degrees? You know. So yeah, there's a growing movement of people who have a conviction that the Earth is flat, which I would certainly agree with. Maybe surrounded by an ice wall. I wouldn't like to say on that one for sure. I've got a feeling we can't go there to find out. The way it looks on the control that having that area, I don't know. A north to south pole circumnavigation, either aerial or over land and sea. Yeah, why isn't that being done? If you're in Australia, where's your north pole of your magnet pointing to? Just daft things. You know, daft things. So the flat Earth people, yeah, there's still a lot of things what we haven't got sorted out yet. There's, you know, and it's not going to be a straightforward thing, and it's not going to go down well. You know, just how's this going to pan out when, you know, the CGIs are getting better from NASA. There's still got a long way to go after the better CGIs on Geostorm and Gravity films. Frighteningly good. These are actors. What's it going to be like in the future if we don't get a hold now and realise what's going on? Their CGI and imagery and quality of communication is going to be so compelling that you won't be able to tell. If someone's floating at some fucking Tesla electric car around, I mean, it's beyond words for me, that one. But there's people what are there clapping at the hey Tesla, and thinking it's a great achievement. There's people slagging off the flat earthers because this is a great achievement, and all you want to do is put a downer on humanity. For fuck's sake, you know, get a grip on it. It's the last thing we want to do. It's these people, whatever they are, is stopping from humanity from progressing, hiding our over unity energy cell fuels what we can have, making us slaves to a system of energy which we don't need to be. We've got the technology there. They've got it all locked away. Anyway, I just thought I'd put my cards on the table. I'll put this out on YouTube when I find out how to do it. Once the penny drops, the whole thing cascades in your mind, and even though you might not be able to prove every part of the whatever it might be, it'll be obvious to you you're not on a ball. That's all. Now, and once you've realised that, it's going to be you're going to have a rough night, because you realise that a lot of the things what you've been told in your life are wrong. I had a book once called by Lloyd Pye. He had a thing called A Star Child Skull. Not quite sure what it was really. And he said, everything you know is wrong. That was the title of his book. Everything you know is wrong. Yeah, so there's something to start with. Start with a clean sheet. Anyway, I'll leave for now. I'm going to make a run for it. Nice to make visual contact with anyone out there who's got the head round this place where we are, or this place where we aren't. More the point. Find out where we aren't, and then sooner or later we'll find out where we are exactly. Anyway, I'm going to leave it for now. I'll just turn it around to one other pan of this sea because it's actually really lovely. Okay. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Anyway, I'm out of here. Take care. Be good.